upon us is but the passing of greed, the bitterness of men who fear the way of human progress. The hate of men will pass, and dictators die, and the power they took from the people will return to the people. And so long as men die, liberty will never perish. Soldiers, don't give yourselves to brutes, men who despise you, enslave you, who regiment your lives, tell you what to do, what to think, and what to feel, who drill you, diet you, treat you like cattle, use you as cannon fodder. Don't give yourselves to these unnatural men with machine minds and machine hearts. You are not machines, you are not cattle, you are men. You have the love of humanity in your hearts. You don't hate, only the unloved hate, the unloved and the unnatural. Soldiers, don't fight for slavery, fight for liberty.
The eMilitia Podcast, Episode 19, Whiskey with Whiskey and Rebellion. Enjoy, fuckers.
Because it is illegal to sell a deer, isn't it?
Is it?
Yeah, I don't.
What?
Pretty sure it is.
In my state, it is like.
I'm pretty sure it is here.
Approved. You're allowed to donate it. You can give it to
What?
charities,
Yeah,
but
you can't sell it though.
That's where my dad got his fucking drinking money. Jesus Christ.
Well, your dad's badass because he's an outlaw.
Well, in England, it's fucking legal, which is the weirdest fucking thing ever.
I didn't even know
Guns,
hunting was
guns,
legal.
guns, guns.
Yeah.
3, 2, 1, intro.
I still have a question for Grant.
Go. Intro now. Could I have a sustenance garden? You can make this the intro. Could I have a sustenance garden outside of my camper at your hemp farm?
yes.
Yeah,
Like,
dude. Yeah, man.
you know,
You're allowed to
why'd
have
you have
12,
to ask?
you're allowed to have 12 plants for yourself in Michigan.
12 plants for myself. I don't mean
Yeah,
hemp. I
adult
mean
use.
like
Yeah,
I mean
no,
like green
cannabis.
beans and shit.
Oh
Right.
yeah,
You're only
of
allowed
course,
12
bro.
green beans.
Yeah.
Dude, we
I
got
just know.
we got a fat vegetable garden, dude. I probably got like a quarter-acre vegetable garden.
Hell yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
bro, you're set up,
I'm
dude.
actually keeping this as the intro, so just carry on.
I still eat cheese though.
Cheese. Well, we don't
You
have
got
any
a
goats
cheese
or
garden?
anything.
You're gonna have to
Nah.
buy your own cow, milk it.
I'll do that.
Yeah.
I mean, if his camper yard has enough space for a cow, I'll do it.
So, believe it or not,
Shit,
this podcast...
Okay, no, wait. I had a plan, okay? Whoever's editing has
Is
to
it the
stop
intro?
it there.
Is
Yeah,
your
that was
plan
the
the
intro.
No, that's
That
the
was the
intro.
intro. Whoever edits this has to stop it at the end of our talk about my weird sustenance farm at fucking Gramps Hemp Farm, and then now's the real intro. So that's like the teaser at the beginning,
I
right?
don't know, I might just leave this all unedited.
All right, if you do, in my defense, beautiful audience, I'm drunk. So my plan was to have
really?
this
No
cool,
surprise.
but now it's lame. So I'm sorry. But anyway, 3, 2, 1. Good evening, audience. This is the eMilitia at the eMilitia HQ coming at you live. We've got Anglo, who it's been a long time no see, Bloody Revolutions, Bootlickers Beware, Empress of Meme, myself, aka Guns and Guillotines, Hanging for Freedom, and our guest for the night, long awaited, Whiskey
Whoop, whoop.
and Rebellion. Welcome aboard.
Whiskey's
Okay.
a fucking douche.
So
Yeah, basically.
how dare you? So anyway, let's jump right into it. So Whiskey, why don't you, if you don't mind calling you Whiskey, why don't you just tell us why the fuck are you the way that you are?
Bitch.
Yeah, what made you libertarian? What made you start this account? Like how did you go from
Mandatory
like
vaccine
literally violent status to now? Tell us the evolution of your life.
The inside story.
You guys want the scoop?
Yeah, I want the
Yeah.
scoop.
We want
Scoop
the
me,
mega
Daddy.
scoop.
Dirt.
I mean, I guess, I kind of always grew up political. I was raised in a really conservative area, and then I moved to a very liberal area for high school, and I was just always picking political fights with people I went to school with and teachers. Pretty like neoconservative and shit. But then I went to college and went into the military, and about halfway through college I just started questioning what I was doing and shit like that. And then when I actually got out into the military, it started questioning it more to the point where I was like, wow, I just don't even want to be here anymore. Hey dog. And then I started the page as like a way to vent and then not get in trouble with the government, with UCMJ,
Oh, so
being
you started
active
while you were
duty.
in.
Yeah, and it was always just like 100 followers, and I post shit that I wanted to talk about, and I didn't really care what people had to think or say about it. It was sort of like a self-journaling type deal for me, and then I just kept doing it, and for whatever reason the audience kept building, and then when I finally got out of the military I just kept going with it and sort of spawned into something that I didn't really expect. But yeah, I mean, I really don't know like what else to say.
Yeah. Can you tell us the same story but like less boring?
Shut up.
Did anything cool happen in the interim, or was
influences?
it just like all gradual? Like who? Like where did you?
So
M's question was a good question. What were your
like
influences?
when I was halfway through college, I was in my sophomore year and I had to take a philosophy class, and we started learning about Kant and utilitarianism, and it just, the way it was being taught to us was that, you know, as long as more people benefit, then it's okay, you know. And I always thought that that was bullshit, and so I started looking outside of the class for like reasons why it would be bullshit, so that I didn't have to regurgitate that. And do you guys remember that website Stumble Upon?
Yeah.
No.
Yes.
Nope.
Okay, Stumble Upon was the shit, where you just
It
pick like
was.
topics that interested you.
great.
Yeah, it doesn't exist anymore, which is sad. But I put on philosophy, and I was just stumbling one night in my dorm room, and I came across an Ayn Rand video where
Oh,
she
hell
was
yeah.
talking to some like, you know, TV host back in the 50s or something. And she was talking about how selfishness was virtuous. And at first I was like, all right, this bitch is fucking crazy. But the more she started talking, I was like, oh, damn, like I'm an econ major. This all kind of makes sense to me.
Wait, you went to college?
Wait, what?
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah,
The in-
believe it or not, I went to college.
The inside
Damn.
scoop.
Jesus,
He's
is
done
inside scoop.
shit.
We didn't know
But,
you were an econ.
Yeah,
most
shit.
of
I had
us,
no
but
idea.
Apparently, guns didn't pick up on that. You said it earlier that you went to college.
I'm not picking up on shit, dude.
He's drunk as fuck. Half of this is gonna go way over his head. But I
How
just
dare
kept
you.
looking into I just kept looking into her stuff at first, and I read all her books, and then somehow yeah, right. I made the jump from her over into politics, and then I found Ron Paul, but Ron Paul wasn't like the big influencer for me. Like more it was her, and then I just heard the term, you know, libertarian and then minarchist, and for a while I was just a minarchist, you know. I was still in college, like going into the military, and
Wait, you were an
That's sort of-
officer, or were you just
Yeah.
stupid?
I was a stupid officer.
Then
but,
they are not mutually exclusive.
yeah, right.
Well,
No, fuck
If
no.
you went to college and then joined the military not as an officer, you're just stupid. So
Well, I want the experience first. I want to know what the guys go through. Heard that one.
Yeah, no, I didn't do that. I mean, for a while, I drank the Kool-Aid so hard that they had a program where you could take 2 years off between your sophomore and junior year, where you'd go enlisted and you'd be deployed. And for a while, like I was seriously considering that. 'cause
sounds like just a shitty idea.
Yeah, you
like
could just
nothing about
die
it was
for
a stupid
less
idea.
reason.
That's just like, that's where I was, right? I was so far gone. But yeah, I found minarchism, you know, I bought into that for a while, but then I just stopped making excuses, and I was like, you know what? Fuck this government. If if I don't like what it's doing, like why don't I just get rid of it entirely? And that seemed
single-handedly.
yeah, it just seemed like the better option to me. And then yeah, I don't know, just sort of it made more and more sense to me the more I learned about it, and I just haven't turned back.
Are a lot of the pages that were around when you started your page still around?
Oh fuck no. I mean, there was like, you know, Babylon Step Back, Inciting Ideas. Like those are two guys who I took a lot from.
I thought it was enticing ideas.
No, it's inciting.
No.
That's a really
not even how
different page.
enticing spelled.
Damn, I've been reading that. Dude, maybe I have dyslexia. Oh shit!
I think
Just
so.
add something
Might.
else to the list.
You could have two things.
You could have lots more than two.
Just what? Stupid? Just have stupid?
Yeah, that is
a
a thing, believe it
with
or not.
doctors and medicine and such.
Well, it's okay. I can lift heavy things.
There you go.
Yeah, you got that retard strength, of course.
Yeah, it's not the first time I've admitted it. But anyway, back to you. Not to steal your thunder or anything.
That's all you do.
My superhuman strength.
But I mean, really, that's all it was. Like, it started making more and more sense to me, and then I started applying it to not just like politics, but life and how to treat people. And
yeah,
I'm sure that all of you had the same sort of idea. There wasn't really anything where it was like, damn, this crazy shit happened, and now I'm an anarchist.
Yeah.
What's your biggest hang up?
I had a crazy shit happen.
My biggest hang up?
Yeah.
Like with anarchism?
Like your final sort of road bumps. Like before you could really jump to anarchism from minarchism. Your last excuses.
A lot of people it was cops.
Well, actually, yeah, I guess yeah, believe it or not, cop incident. I was like an anarchist at the time, but I wasn't really so, angry or like anti-cop, anti-gov. I wasn't as pissed off with it. But I was driving to get a tattoo in Atlanta, and then as I was driving back home, I had work the next morning, and I got stopped at like 3:00 in the morning by some cops in Mississippi, and they pulled me over for going like 66 and a 60, and this guy, I had my pistol, in the car, and it was in the back seat, kind of back behind the passenger seat, just where I could reach it. And as the cop was walking away and he grabbed my papers and license, like he was shining his flashlight in there, and I just got the feeling that he saw it. And then when he came back, he asked me if I had any guns in the car, and I was like, I don't really have to answer that question, but and then he got me out of the car, and he had me standing on the side of the road, gave me the pat down and everything, and I went to reach for my phone, and he put his hand on his weapon and everything, and it just started escalating. And then next thing I know, there's 3 other squad cars there, and one of them's a K9 unit, and the guy's telling me that he's gonna have the dog sniff for fucking drugs in my car. And I'm like, what fucking reason do you have to think that I have any drugs in this car? And
well, as a big black man, they can only assume.
Yeah. Definitely very white. Yeah, it sort of escalated, and I told him, if you're gonna have that dog like sniff my car, like I'm gonna be standing back behind one of your officers, and I'm gonna be recording, and I'm gonna watch to see if that dog is given any tells. And because I didn't trust fucking hick cops out in the middle of Mississippi, right?
So.
And
bored in the middle of the night.
Who you call a
hick? Middle of the night, 3:00 in the morning. Like I'm in between Jackson, you're way east of Jackson. No big cities around or anything like that, and they just kept escalating. But when I brought up the tells and everything, the guy kept asking like for him to get into the car, and it's just like, dude, you can get a fucking warrant, but you're not getting into my car with my consent. And he kept asking, and I'm like, dude, go ahead, like call a fucking judge, at 3:00 in the morning, and tell him that you stopped somebody for going 66 and a 60, and now you want to get in their car for drugs. And they just kind of let me go. And I was freaked the fuck out though, right?
You're the outlier though.
Oh, the whole time you're driving away, it's like,
dude, I'm just thinking
Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas.
Yeah, they could have put me in, fucking prison.
6 feet under.
They could have planted something in my car that was within their power. Like, they could be crooked as shit. They could plant something in my car and they could ruin my life. And I'm driving home like, fucking Christ. Like, this is
need to assert your rights?
Yeah, right.
Without them violating it, like almost like
and
they didn't.
That was sort of like the big thing though, where it was just no turning back really after that.
Like a lot of people don't understand that, but that's like a real concern. And you can, excuse me, you can tell. I mean, like you'd be ballsy to tell a cop that stopped you and is like, I suspect you might have marijuana in your car or something. Like, no, fuck off, because there are plenty of examples of cops planting evidence or planting drugs in people's cars, and then they go to prison for years until that cop gets caught, and then all the cases that he was involved in when the people got convicted for having drugs get dismissed or get overturned. But they've already spent 9 months, 2 years, 5 years in jail.
Those are years of your life, like gone, right? And even if you just go to prison for, it doesn't have to be very long at all. It's like a week or 2 weeks. Like you could still lose your fucking job.
Yeah, you would definitely lose any career that you had. But even if they pay, even if you're the small minority where the state pays reparations for what they did to you, you're still fucked.
Also, that cop could have a mark on his career. Just one more arrest for drugs.
Yeah, and that's all it is to most of them, right? It's a fucking arrest statistic that they use like in their profile or whatever for promotion. Like that all goes into account. And I know that these fucking small time cops in Mississippi, like they're also after fucking government grant money, right? Because thanks to the war on drugs, like they get more arrests for drugs, they get more funding, and they get more.
Look at the problem in our state
and the money train that's involved with it. Drugs equal cash. They get to keep cash. Civil forfeiture.
Civil asset forfeiture.
Like it's all a big system of like perverse incentives that, for me it was like, wow, the system's fucked up, and just having like people who, were no different than me, like this guy was 6 inches smaller than me, and he was this scrawny little douche, but the fact that he could throw me into prison, like even if I did have drugs in my car, like none of his fucking business, just for somebody else to have that power over me in the eyes of everybody else who lives here, like that didn't sit well with me. You guys there?
Yeah, we're here. We're just
so
what
engrossed.
you were saying was boring. So,
oh my god.
Not only that, but like the statist would say, well, just let it work out, or like fight it.
Like trust the system. The system's the whole fucking problem.
Yeah, exactly. The system is the problem. Like that's ridiculous. You don't get that kind of. You don't get your life back. You don't get time back. That's happened to people over and over again. I think I've reposted a bunch of stories about cops planting evidence and cops, basically, manufacturing these cases against people and more or less ruining their lives, because even if you can beat the rap, you can't beat the ride. Like that's a rough ride for some people.
Well, the system is set up so that the reward of the cop getting the drug bust way outweighs the negative if he happens to get busted. Because when he gets busted and someone catches him, a lot of times they just get fired or they resign before they have a chance to get fired.
And then they reapply in the next session.
Next door.
And they get rehired to the same exact same exact sheriff department or office that they were working for, or they go right down the road, the next county over.
Yeah, it's like that piece of shit Mesa PD cop that killed the guy in his hotel room, right? Or outside of his hotel room. Like he's drawing a fucking pension.
Yeah.
And
that's another part of it.
That's the thing. Like every 29? Every time, even when justice is served, right? And the cops go away because they were pieces of shit, like we still pay for it. It's just more of the system and these perverse incentives and not holding individuals accountable for their actions. Right.
Yeah.
And that's really just all it is. Like, and all anarchy is that like you're responsible for your own actions and you don't get some special favor or immunity from civil damages.
Or from the harshness that is life. Like just the way it is.
It's like Amber Geiger, right? You walk into somebody's fucking house or apartment and you kill them.
Yeah.
You fucking killed a human being.
Yeah, we did it.
If I did that, I would
conversation about that. So
Yeah.
Basically, old news. Find something new.
Shut up.
But
holy shit.
dude, I told this guy I'm gonna reach through.
If my kids were that rude, I'd say something. So like I'm saying something, dude. Holy shit.
I'm just fucking with you, man.
It's gonna take a lot more than that to piss me off.
I'm here for the band.
Don't worry about it.
Here for the band.
It's not pissing you off. It's disrailing the whole conversation.
Yeah, pissing me off.
Okay,
but we had this conversation, but some people might be tuning in just to hear you and didn't want to hear our other
if you tuned in to Whiskey and Rebellion's podcast, because it's Whiskey and Rebellion's, you should probably check out our Amber Geiger podcast so that you could hear the conversation we would have had if we were having it. Right?
I agree with him.
Thank you.
Are you plugging the podcast in the middle of the podcast?
Yeah.
There's no shame. There's no shame in plugging our own shit.
There's no shame in plugging your own podcast on a podcast.
Right.
If you only want to hear Whiskey, listen to his podcast.
Here's the thing. Okay, I know I'm drunk, whatever, it's fine, but what I wanted to say was, much as I love this conversation, it's turning into just another cop rant when I know that we have questions that the fans sent to BR that we can answer.
Oh, dude, hit me with any questions that you want.
We'll get there. The cop rant was actually requested. Sorry.
Oh, well, I mean, we did it then.
Dude, so how's your podcast? Because, like, I gotta say, I don't know if you recognized it, but like, me and you talked way back a long time ago on like one of my weed growing, and like I talked to you about how we were gonna use your your 4th of July address back. I think this was maybe 2 years ago, about for our homeschooling lesson. How's your podcast going, dude? Because like, I mean, we've been like,
plug your shit.
I mean, it's
plug your shit and our shit.
I'm gonna be honest. It's like been slow to get up and running because I was trying to juggle the page, a full-time job, a career, and then try to do a podcast in the meantime. But to be honest, like I was just too burned out by the time it came time for me to do anything podcast related. But I've got another one recorded. I took the Specker test and then like talk through my answers. So I'm gonna put that up tomorrow. But it's a work in progress. It's not really established. Like people can check out what I got, but
we know what that's like. It's growing pains, man. It's part of doing something.
Struggle of success.
But we're fortunate because we've got, if someone can't make it, we can just be like, yeah, fuck it. All right, we'll do it with the rest of us. Or like, we got multiple people to edit. We got multiple people to show up.
Until Fedbot decides not to work.
Yeah, I don't think there's anyone here that's interesting enough to carry a podcast by themselves.
Oh,
wow.
I could definitely talk to myself for an hour.
I would have at least 5 listeners, I'll have you know.
That'd be worth an experiment.
I'm actually
honestly
interested. I want to hit some of these questions.
Yeah, let's hit some of these questions.
I want to hear because I saw you make the story post and I was interested to see.
I mean, you're cool and all, but are you cool enough on your own?
I don't think so. So we're gonna prove that right now.
Oof. All right, so
I'm just fucking everybody that knows I'm kidding. Good for you. Everybody that doesn't know I'm kidding, you're stupid as fuck. So like, okay, that's where we are. All right.
All right. So,
love you, Whiskey.
So do we want to start off with something like
come
fun?
Over. Shut the fuck up. I'll put a casserole in. I'll have a bottle of wine.
Start with whatever you want, dude.
Well, we can go serious or we can go funny.
Go in order. Just go in order.
Nah, not in order. Not all of them are worth asking.
Okay, well, only the ones that are worth asking.
Why doesn't the person answering the question make this decision?
That's a good idea, actually.
Let's do some non-serious, and then we'll get back here.
Interrupt his answers.
Yeah.
Don't. Are you saying don't or do?
Don't.
Are you sure?
Oh shit, dude.
You know what? Just surprise us. Like, maybe don't interrupt him, maybe interrupt him. I don't know.
Okay.
Fuck it.
That works for me, because either way, that's what was going to happen.
Shake it up a bit instead of just interrupting.
All right. So the people want to know, what whiskey does whiskey drink?
That's a good one.
That is a good question. To be honest, not a big fan of bourbons. Like
Oh,
I'll drink
Oh.
any whiskey, but
So you're
I'm
gay.
not really a
Controversial.
bourbon guy. Yeah, I'm a homo because I don't drink
You're a
bourbon.
commie.
You like rye?
It's
I
un-American.
do. I love ryes.
I like rye too. You know, I just
like
made fun of you,
Canadians.
but I like rye more than I like whiskey these days. I'm there. I'm with
Well,
you.
rye is a type of whiskey, jackass. So
I meant bourbons.
But yeah, I mean, I like rye scotches and Canadians. Generally I'll do like I'll drink scotches that I like sherry matured whiskey. You know, like a Belvini or an Arbor, something like that. Irishes are really good to me. Like my favorite of all time probably is a Redbreast.
A man of class.
Obviously.
Yeah, I like that shit. You know, and then I mean, even just like Jameson.
So everything
like,
except
Jameson
bourbons.
is the best. I'll drink bourbons though,
Ugh.
right? Like if I find something that I like that's a bourbon, like Jefferson, they've got a good bourbon that aged at sea.
Oh shit!
Jeez.
Yeah, they put
fuck?
barrels on
commitment.
cargo containers, and then they age it at sea. So it's like back when they used to have whiskey on ships, and the whiskey would slosh around in the barrels, and it would extract more flavor. Like
Jesus
that shit's good.
Christ.
Fuck.
These people
Yeah.
thought about this.
That sounds
Dude,
good. I might try
it's-
that.
It's an art form.
Oh fuck
I
yeah.
think that's why I like it so much, right? Like it takes so much time and effort, and like there's thousands of years.
Well, it's like to
Serious
actually be a
question.
whiskey in the United States, it's like a minimum of 4 years aging, I believe.
yeah.
Serious question. Do you like it because you know what happens to it, or do you like it because it fucking tastes good?
I like it because it tastes good. Like
Okay,
to me,
all right, good for you.
whiskey gives me the same sort of feeling that some people get like when they're high, right? Like it chills you out, calms you down.
That's how I am. Or drinker.
Yeah, to be completely honest, I don't handle like weed very well. Like it fucking hits me differently. It hits me hard, turns me into a vegetable. So I can't really smoke weed and then do most things. Like if I watch a movie, I'm gonna forget the whole movie. Like I'll enjoy it, and I know that I enjoy it, but you know, I would rather have a glass of whiskey.
I didn't know that wasn't like the normal reaction to it, to be honest.
You could do both.
I don't
You could have
know,
the whiskey and the weed and enjoy the movie.
All right,
Yeah,
hardcore.
I've got friends who
fuck?
they
Spoken like a
can
true
smoke all
lifetime
fucking
alcoholic.
day, right? Like yeah, they can go to work high. Like I could never fucking do that ever. But
There's a big difference between going to work high and watching a movie high.
Yeah,
Whoa.
definitely. Like, fuck, I don't go to work high. I don't get. Yeah, I don't.
I'm
get
just
high
a two puff
every day.
pussy, right? So it doesn't matter how much I smoke, I'm gonna be out on my ass.
Well, there's nothing wrong with knowing your limitations.
Know your limits, stay within it.
Yeah, that's
So are you going in November 2nd to the DC rally? You gonna go hit that up?
I'm not. I'm too far away.
Too far.
Honestly, yeah, I'm kind of worried about it. All
What, like
falling
more
apart,
than 8
too.
hours?
Yeah.
Yeah. More than 12 hours?
Oh my god. all right, Fed.
He said no, doc.
More than 100 hours?
You want my
Are
fucking
you
security
out of
number, too?
country? Are you abroad?
No.
He's
Hey,
so
you
Sitting
know,
there on a
there.
boat like
You guys
McAfee?
already know. Like I've made the statement. I would rather
Alright.
fucking die than set foot in Europe.
I set foot in Europe,
All right,
and
so
it
no.
pissed me off a lot.
But right there, you said you're a little worried. What are you worried about?
I'm worried that it's gonna fall apart.
Yeah, I feel the same way, dude. I'm a little worried.
Just wear
Well,
your plates, you'll be all right.
Area
So,
51.
tentatively planning on going.
Yeah, I mean, sort of like that. You know,
Just
even
use
if they wanted to
precautions,
do,
man.
even if they wanted to do like a peaceful protest or anything like that, you know, Kokesh, for example, got fucking raided because he had a shotgun
Ugh.
in DC. I mean,
That
he
still
fucking
pisses me
cracked
off.
it, but at the same time, like, you know, DC is not a very gun-friendly place. So one, I would be interested to see if it even ends up happening, and then two, like how the fuck it goes down. But yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I'm busy with other shit for right
Liberty business.
Liberty business.
All right, we we're all drunk as fuck. So who's up?
Just
for
bring condoms and plates, and you're fine. Like it doesn't matter if it falls apart. You're okay.
Protection and protection.
Yeah. You're covered in all scenarios.
Double them up.
Tampons and rat tourniquets.
Yeah.
I got 2 plate carriers. I got 2 tourniquets. 2 motherfucking condoms.
I seen a guy get his nose broke with a bottle someone tossed across the fire. They jammed a couple tampons up there. It fucking sucked it up great.
Dr. Boogaloo's gonna like.
What kind of parties do you have?
He's gonna start attacking this podcast now because of that comment. We're fucked.
No, I seen that the whole thing about the tampon thing, and I'm like, I walked up and I seen this dude lay in the back of a pickup, and I'm like, what happened? They're like, oh, he was supposed to catch the bottle, but he never put his hands up. And I'm like, are those tampons in his nose? And they're like, yep.
I've used it before for a nosebleed. Honestly, it's good shit.
Well, yeah, but you're a giant pussy, so it makes sense.
It wasn't my nosebleed, you lot of shit.
Were they scented?
I don't know.
Are they scented?
What size?
They were not self-applied. I shoved them on someone else's nose.
Wait a minute.
So you let more about like
you had somebody else shove a tampon in your face.
No, I was the one, and there was someone else that I shoved the tampon in the nose.
Self-applied. What does not self-applied mean to everybody else here?
What?
He didn't put it in his vagina, is what he's saying.
Yeah, basically.
Wait.
So you shoved him in your face, though?
No, someone else is.
No, it's somebody else.
What the fuck?
Jeez, dude.
That was way too complicated.
Oh my god.
That's what I asked, like almost verbatim, and they were like, "No, I'm British, and I'm not going to make any fucking phonetic sense. I'm going to say a bunch of shit that don't make any fucking sense."
Say
Did you say
Euro.
what your number 1 favorite whiskey was?
Say Euro?
No. Shh.
What's your number 1 favorite whiskey?
Say what?
He did. It was red.
Red breast. Yeah, red breast. Probably like the 21 or the 18. But
shit, naming years.
This guy's ahead of us.
Okay, I got a question.
What's up?
What was the final turning point that made you decide to quit your job and try something else? Because that's a big change. Like you gave up a career. This is kind of, you had a big thing with the military and deciding you had to get out.
I mean, that's sort of, what I do, I guess. I've got a track record for that. If I don't like something, like I get out of it. It seems stupid to me that most people, like most of my friends I know, they got into careers after college and then they just haven't changed, but they're fucking miserable.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that sounds horrible.
Like I know that a couple of you work in construction. It's like that shit can get really fucking tiring, especially if you're in the management side because it's like babysitting.
Yeah.
Are you just here to flex on us? Or?
It's total base. The management side of construction.
Dude, that's all it fucking is.
That's literally
dealing with people who you're paying to do a job, but they don't want to do the job for whatever reason, and they want to draw it out as long as they can,
and still get paid.
Yeah, and so I was just like, you know what, I'll quit.
But isn't that every career in management? Is it just construction, or is it most careers that if you're in management, the whole thing is you're just babysitting people?
Well, so to an extent, but you can babysit more mature people, and it's not as taxing. But like, I mean, the thing with construction is that like one, I just realized it wasn't what I don't want to be on I didn't want to be on my deathbed, looking back at my life and thinking that I should have done something else.
Happens when you get into your 70s.
Yeah, right. Once I had that revelation, I was like, yeah, fuck it. I'll go out and do something else. So I got a little while before I decide. So I'll just do podcast and do a little whiskey me time. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's fancy ass.
No, I appreciate the decision because I've changed careers a couple times before, and it's always a big decision. I was just wondering what it was specifically, and obviously you just didn't like it, so you said you could do better, no matter what. I appreciate that. Yeah,
basically, that's really all it is.
All right, now
I'll probably do the same thing like a couple more times before I die.
Nothing wrong with that.
All right, cool. We got another question.
I've got one. Now that we're nice and fucked up, we'll get into something serious and just make a mess of it. So,
Yeah.
Which is
not
the
like us.
general. No.
Guns, you're up.
This is gonna be wildly strange for us to do.
Guns, I'm out. Are you kidding me? I'm great
said
at making
you're up.
serious. Oh, okay, good. I was about to fight you. All right, what's up?
So Whiskey, what do you make?
Big Mom.
I'm gonna fucking rape you.
Whiskey.
Oh god,
What's up, man? Ask a question.
All right.
Can you read?
No, you fucking in my ear. All right.
Fucking in your ear. Ooh.
Yeah.
Oral.
I hate you.
Not oral. Oral.
Oral.
Mike.
Oral sex. In the ear.
This is preempting a serious question.
All
I'm
right,
surprised you guys haven't figured it out. Like, all you got to do is just keep continuing asking the question.
Just don't give him a chance.
We'll get through it in like 8 parts. All right.
He has brain damage. Don't mind him, dude. It's nice.
You're giving me a fucking aneurysm.
This is why I drink. Anyway, Whiskey, what do you make of the sort of fascists who attach themselves to the liberty movement recently? Like, I get a fuck ton on my page.
That's a good ass question, bro.
And I see them on everyone's page. Like, what about degeneracy? And our race. And it's like, who the fuck cares?
That is a good question. And I'm going to be respectful enough to not answer it for our guest.
Great. But yeah, what do you make of that movement trying to attach itself to ours to like legitimize itself or whatever it might be?
So I think that the people who, they come over to like the libertarian side and then they try to do that dumb like anarcho-fascist shit where they so focus on race. Dude, yeah. I mean, they're fucking losers, and they like the idea of, they like all the tenets that libertarianism has, like the individualism, but then they're unwilling to apply that logic to, somebody based on skin color. Right. Like, I grew up in an area of the country where there were nobody other than white people and natives. Right. Like, I knew that, like Native Americans existed, but I wasn't in like some multicultural environment. And then, to be completely honest, like, I was kind of the same way. I didn't know anything about like the Black community, for example. Right. And then I went to college and had a Black roommate, and it all just, I kind of got hit like a freight train with like, oh, this is just like another dude. But I think it's just people who are unwilling to let go of like this fear that they have of people who don't look like them or they don't have like the same values and shit like that. But then even this is going to make libertarianism almost sound bad, but like, it's not like everybody needs to think about that, right? Like, all you have to do is everybody has to come to the common understanding that however you want to live, like if you want to live in some fucking white enclave settlements that they had down
South
in Argentina,
America,
yeah, like you can fucking do that, right?
Yeah.
Like, if that's how you want to live, you can do that. But this whole idea that it's like your race and your people, like my race and my people, I'm Danish and Swedish, right? The Danes and the Swedes are fucking pussies. Like, I don't have any fucking attachment.
They used to rock
to those people, right? Like, my grandparents
Swedes
came
used to be
over from there.
Vikings.
Yeah, exactly. Now they just bend over backwards and they're scared of everything, and they just try to be hyper progressive and stuff.
I'm
like,
scared of spiders.
Those aren't my fucking people,
I moved parking spots today because I parked and there was a spider web next to my truck, and I moved spots.
You are a pussy, Guns.
That's how scared of spiders I am.
You told me about the time you shot a spider.
I did. I have in my past life shot a spider twice with a 9mm.
I like have a BB gun that I'll shoot spiders with, but that's just for fun.
Yeah, I enjoyed it, but it was a 9.
But I was scared.
Yeah. Well, no, I was like, I have an actual firearm, so I feel like I outnumber him right now. But I don't.
I kill
he might have a trick
spiders
up his
inside
sleeve.
the house because I believe in castle doctrine. But if they're outside of my house, I let them go.
Yeah, dude. You know.
Nah, I kill them every time.
NAP respect.
They kill other
we're on the
bugs.
catch and re- yeah, we're
I
on
don't
the catch and
care.
release.
I'd
program
rather have
over
a
here.
mosquito land on me than see a spider.
Oh hell no, dude. Hell
Yeah.
no.
Yeah,
Spiders are good.
West Nile. Fuck it.
Spiders-
And here I am in South Carolina saying that. And our mosquitoes are the size of hummingbirds. So
they'll
that
fly
means
away
something.
with you. They'll pick you up and carry you away down there.
If one of them hits you in the face, if one of them lands on your head after flying at full speed, he might knock you out.
Yeah,
They won't
I
pick you up.
believe
They'll get toddlers, you know, and small pets, but they won't get you.
like the fucking dingoes in Australia. Like,
yeah. Dingo stole my baby.
There it is.
Yeah, but honestly, I shot a spider in the ass, and its ass blew up, and it kept crawling, so I had to shoot it again.
Oh, jeez.
This is a true story. I'll stick by it. In
Sounds
30
like you're a
years,
bad
you can ask me the same. What?
Sounds like you're a bad shot.
It was a fucking spider. It was a pretty good shot.
Dude, like the round's bigger than the spider.
Exactly.
Grazing still happens.
Anyway, back to the question.
But I mean, really, it's all down to like, you know, you can't judge an individual based on groups, right? And you can't judge groups based on an individual. And I know that people do it, right? Like stereotyping, it just allows us to compartmentalize information, and it's like a defense mechanism.
Yeah.
You know, so I understand that it's like primal, but you also can fucking think about it.
Yeah.
You know, like anybody who says that somebody like Maj Tour, for instance, who's running for city council in Philly, right? And he started the Black Guns Matter group, like trying to arm the black community. Like I would take 100 of him, you know, over like thousands of these anarcho-fascists.
Oh fuck yeah.
Right? If I was gonna live in an area, like that's who I would want to live around. I don't give a fuck about your biological like traits. I don't give a fuck about your skin color, like where you grew up or who your parents were or anything like that. Like if we were to be judged off of that, you know, I wouldn't like who I would be judged as. You know, to some people. Like judge people based off of who they are. And really that's libertarianism, right? It's that the individual is more important than the group. Like,
I think so.
You can't have like a civil society if you're going to treat individuals like shit. And that's where I think a lot of people just get hung up and they can't move past that. And frankly, you know, I think it's fucking pathetic, but a lot of people do it.
Yeah. And
So.
like you see that so fucking often because I've just kind of realized because of my tactics posts, I've got a lot of these guys sort of clinging on and like just kind of like they just sort of pot shot at the libertarian post, like, oh yeah, not possible because of the blacks or whatever the fuck it might be.
Yeah.
And it's like, dude, have you ever met a black guy? or do you just like go off of a few fucking news reports and like just pursue the tribalism that you're used to that's safe? Because scapegoating is easy.
Yeah, and it's like, you know, you can, I get the fucking racial statistics and I understand like the IQ bell curve and all of these things, but regardless, like, you know, you can take all of that information.
Bell curves right now.
Yeah, you can't apply it to somebody if they're like a good, you know, if they're a good fucking person who just wants to be left alone and is leaving everybody else alone and they're not harming anybody. Like all of that, you know, quote unquote racial science that you have, like it doesn't fucking matter. You know what I mean? Like if there's a good person, that's paramount to any of that bullshit. So, you know, I get that people want to jump into it and they want to look at it from like a biology standpoint and they try to justify like their bad way of thinking, but you're just following down a path where it's like the answer doesn't fucking do anything for you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, especially when they try and attach it to libertarianism, because a lot of them jump into like our comments and they try and convert people and sway them that way. The so-called fucking libertarian to fascist pipeline that I thought was dead back in 2014, but
it's not.
And yeah,
but then too, they always bring up shit like in comments. I know exactly what you're saying. Like they always bring up shit where, you know, they'll talk about like the borders, and you're like, well, you know, what's the fucking problem with not having borders if you don't have welfare, right?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
If you don't have a drug war, if you can allow people to like make these decisions on their own, and they're like, oh, well, you want fucking, Mexican cartels selling drugs to your kids. It's like, no, I fucking don't. But I would also be a parent. Like there's evils in the world. Like, do you just get to use them as a scapegoat for you being a shitty parent? Like, to what end do these policies where you're trying to set up this perfect society in your mind through the state, or where you use just the right amount of violence? Like, where does that end?
The Goldilocks amount of violence.
A lot of it comes down to the lack of responsibility. They don't want to have to take responsibility for raising a kid. They don't want to have to take.
That's why, like, anarchism makes so much more sense, when people start applying it to other things in their life, right? Like personal responsibility. You're an individual. You're responsible for yourself. Like, it applies everywhere. Anarchy isn't just
there's no one here to save you.
Exactly. To not sound fucking lame, like, anarchy isn't just a political ideology. It's more of a life ideology, right? Like, you just are recognizing that you're in control of your own body and you're in control of your own life, and other people don't get to, strong arm you. So
okay, Nazi, fuck.
But like you were saying earlier, the idea of segregated enclaves, like, I don't see why they attach themselves to libertarianism and preach like, oh well, you guys could have freedom, but it would have to be in like a single ethnicity society. It's like, well, no, just if there was no state, just settle your own settlement and fucking, be racist. No one's gonna fucking visit. You're gonna be very lonely. But
yeah, they'll bring up shit too, like mass. They'll bring up shit like mass migration. They'll just say like, "Oh yeah, well look at what mass migration's done to Europe, for example," and you're like, "Who the fuck paid for all those people to go over there?" Like, it's not like they all just walked across the border and they all got like jobs and they all were working and like paying for what they wanted. Like, the state is the apparatus being used, to fucking crush your ethno state. So from another standpoint, it's like, how do you not fucking realize this?
Mass migration is a problem, but what causes mass migration? The state.
Yeah, exactly. So, it's like, God fucking damn. And then how long do you have to walk people down this rabbit hole where it's like, yep, this is a problem caused by the state, which is leading to this, like,
we should make
another problem caused by the state.
Yeah, we should make a flow chart, where it just goes through, where it's like, if is the answer the problem, is the problem, the problem the state, anarchy is the solution, like, is the problem you're the like it could be all done in a flow chart, and a lot of times the state would be the problem.
Yeah, or it's like the people who talk about the Jew world order.
Oh yeah,
right? Like, dude, they, it's like, okay, well, why don't if that's such a problem to you and that's so scary, then get rid of the fucking state. And what are they going to control?
Yeah,
like,
I just had one of those today.
Yeah, it's like, all like society has really become now is it's a bunch of people in a room and then there's a fucking gun in the middle of the room and you elect people every 4 years to see who gets to hold the gun.
Fuck
right?
Yeah.
Like, where anarchists are just like, open the fucking window and throw the gun out. Like, get rid of the fucking gun and we wouldn't have these problems. But a lot of people just
liberal.
But, so I mean, that's sort of my...
Oh yeah, absolutely. And it always comes down to like, well, what's the problem? Is it a monopoly of violence? Well, let's get rid of the fucking monopoly then. What, like, who fucking cares who's in charge, whether they're Jewish, black, or like whatever the fuck, if they got some agenda against us? If you take away the legalized violence, they're just like you. And if they fucking infringe on your rights, shoot the cunt. Like, fuck.
Exactly. Exactly. Like, it's
not rocket science.
Nobody. And the other thing, the misconception is that people think that anarchy, or people who preach anarchy, is like this utopian ideal. No. Right? Like, fuck no. I would never ever claim in a million years that anarchy is like a utopia. Right? I just think that it would get a lot better. It's not going to get perfect. We're not going to have like some, post-scarcity, gay-based communism. Like, this is just, it's the best way to get rid of like the biggest threats to civilization, right? Like mass theft or taxation or like mass murder, like wars. Like when the government does something bad, like it's way bad. It's worse than anything that individuals could possibly do.
Yeah.
Right. So.
Yeah, like when people say, well, anarchy would be chaos, it's like, is this not fucking chaos?
This is like legalized fucking chaos.
Yeah,
so.
you're signing up to be conscripted, and you're fucking like
It's monopolized chaos.
Indoctrinated chaos.
That we vote for, so it's okay. It's democratic chaos.
So what about the minimum wage?
Still chaos.
I'm gonna need another drink after that fucking particular point. Jesus Christ. And I'm sad again.
And that's why you drink.
This is why I drink. Fuck me.
Right, do you want to give us another question before you bounce?
I'm gonna try and find a fun one. Well, I guess we have to go back to our. Sorry.
Said Nazis aren't fun.
Nazis aren't fun. Nazis are cunts.
They are in the video game metal.
Dude, and so that's the other thing, right? Like, look at
video games.
Fucking, Nazi, the Nazi like mass shooters. Those fucking losers who think that they're the supreme race, or I know a lot of them don't even think that they're the supreme race because now their IQ charts have put them somewhere in the middle.
Like, oof.
They're like, oh shit. But,
well, we kind of like the science, but to a point.
Yeah, right.
Well, it's also funny that they think they're the supreme race, but yet they're still the minority on Earth.
And the Ashkenazi Jews like score higher than them, on IQ tests and things.
Wait, they.
I'm also paraphrasing too. I know that I'm gonna catch so much shit for
fuck 'em.
Like what I'm saying.
We don't fact check shit on here. We just ramble.
So
they can't shadow ban you for what you say on here.
but they can
Patreon
ban this
could.
channel.
Yeah, right.
It's coming, boys.
What else you got, bloody?
Well, I guess we wouldn't be servicing our primary audience if we didn't ask for Whiskey's thoughts on the Great Boogaloo.
Oh wow, how long we got?
Well, so I can bring it down a little bit, or we can just go broad.
No, I mean, I guess I never really talk about it because usually I just like meme it. Right?
Yeah,
like I make fucking jokes about it. But I think like what a lot of people don't understand, and I did have one post on it where, like, if the United States were to break apart or go into a civil war, like it could go so many different ways.
Like Syria.
Right? But yeah, it's not gonna be, especially the longer shit goes on, right? It's not gonna be like people think. Right? It's not going to be like Republicans states going against Democratic states, and we're not going to have like this Mason-Dixon line, where some states secede and then they're like going to war. Like it's a culture war.
Yeah.
Right? It's not really a political war, and it's going to go down to like the individual level, right? And you're going to have neighbors fighting neighbors, and like people in town shooting up other people in town. Like, war is fucking chaos, and it's not something to be like idolized, in any way. I love the memes about it.
Yeah.
But I think that like people don't really understand like how bad it could get.
Agreed.
Right? It's not going to be, like I said in that meme, it's not going to be us lining up in Lexington and Concord and taking pop shots at each other. It's going to be like Serbs going out and throwing hand grenades into Croatian houses, right? Like it's not going to be pretty at all. But the reason that I even started bringing it up so many years ago now is that like that's the way that things are headed. You watch like the election, for example, like 2016 was a crazy election. 2020 is going to be fucking nuts. And I'm excited for it because I love watching this shit and then seeing how, you know, these two groups like fight each other for control of that gun in the middle of the room, right? But you know,
do you like it, or
fucking crazy.
Is that just what you tell yourself to be able to get through the whole process? Because I like to laugh at it, but I think it's like laughing to keep myself from crying.
I mean, kind of to an extent, right? But I'm not really much of a pessimist. If that makes sense, right? I guess
that makes sense.
I'd consider myself more of like a critical optimist. Where it's like, I think, you know, we're gonna be okay. And I really don't think that things are gonna get, you know, that bad ever if I had to put my money on it right now. But there is undoubtedly like this culture war going on that we see where you've just got two ideologies that really cannot like go together. And you've got people who think that, you know, they're entitled to other people's things, and now the side that thinks that you're not entitled to other people's things, like you want smaller government or you want no government, like they're becoming like the minority, right? And when somebody like that becomes the minority and they're fearful of the government and they're also the ones who have most of the weapons in the government, like there is the chance that something really could pop off. But you know, and that's the other thing, like I can't read the future, but you know, I do feel like something will happen. I just don't really think that it's like the memes, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I mean, we'll have to see, but I think if anything, you know, there's going to be a few like smaller events that just lead to more of this like awakening, and that we don't actually go to war. You know what I mean? Like there won't be that shooting in the streets. It's going to be things like, you know, even a lot of the Republican Party now, like after it was before 9/11, but after 9/11, it like really took off where the Republican Party started trying to use the apparatus of the state even more, you know, and conservatives used to be like the smaller government, less taxes, but that kind of stopped. And now there's just little things that happen where you, well, so they're growing though, right? Like you can see it with all of these conservatives who are even going so far as like denouncing Trump, right? Like, oh shit, did my computer just went off? Can you guys hear me?
No, yeah, just do it.
Okay.
Wait, no, we can't hear you. What's up?
But it just takes like these
shit, we
things.
lost Whiskey.
Oh, fuck off. It's just gonna take these little things where, you know, like the red flag laws, for instance. If you think about those, like that woke up a lot of people on the right, especially a lot of gun owners. So I think it's gonna be more things like that, where it's just these little things waking more and more people up until like the smaller government becomes like the majority of people, and then we start like moving back the other way. Because as much as I talk shit about the system, right? Like I think there's a lot of flaws in the American government system, but there's also a lot of checks, and it's really hard for things to go like way the fuck you know, out of proportion, way crazy. So yeah, I mean, like, does that make sense what I'm saying?
Oh no, I totally get where you're coming from. I mean, that last point, that's why I moved here. You know, there's a lot of checks before it goes to chaos. So like overnight, you can write something. There's going to be a lot of people being like, "Hold the fuck up, we're not doing this like across the board yet."
Yeah. And, so and it's like the reason that I even bring it up, or the reason that I even meme it, is because, you know, well, you don't want people like, there's nothing in anarchism about like going out and killing innocent people, right? Like that still wouldn't be cool, even if you were going out and, you know.
Well, I would say it's more the norm because we don't justify it in any way. Like status now justify it in war and police killings.
Exactly. Like
He
the
was
reason
smoking
I always
pot
bring it
when
up
she
though,
broke in there eating ice
and the
cream.
reason that I have like the tone that I have is because, you know, at the end of the day, your individual liberties and things like that only go so far as you're willing to protect them, you know. And I know that like the Libertarian Party, they kind of have this idea where you want to be like super inclusive and like love everybody, and that's kind of like the general tone that they have. That's not the libertarians that I want, right? Like I want fucking trigger pullers.
Yeah.
I want people who like are willing to fight for themselves, because
Prepared
that's
for the
the only
worst.
way that exactly. That's the only way that you get change. Right? Like you got to have somebody like these small government or no government people who draw their line in the sand, you know, like a gun confiscation, and they're like, "Look, you know, you cross this, like we've like we're escalating this to like a whole nother situation."
Yeah.
I just really don't think that the chances of even like a gun confiscation happening, because even the Democratic Party right now, right, like they know they would never get away with that. You know, they can promise their constituents shit in campaigns just like they do for free money, or the Republicans do for whatever, but you know, like when they're in office, you know, their political promises, they're always bullshit. They're going to be bullshit in that instance too.
Yeah. I mean, plus you have the you actually have the states who occasionally do push back just to be rebellious and little fucking edgelords. You'll see the odd state just stand against the tide and be like, "No, fuck you."
Yeah, exactly.
Whether it's right or left, they do stand up for themselves on occasion. And I mean, we even saw it with a few Republican senators recently. Or was it senators or governors? Someone that just starts saying like, "No, fuck you. The red flag laws are nuts, and it's impossible." And thank fuck some of them exist, because it's enough to actually wake up the people who toe the party lines to be like, "Oh, Master said say no to that. I agree."
Yeah. So, I mean, I really can't tell like how shit's gonna go. I just know it's not gonna go like the memes.
Yeah.
As funny as the memes are, like.
No, the memes are hilarious.
Different.
Yeah,
Oh,
But yeah, it's not gonna go like that. It's gonna be, if it happens, it's gonna be horrible and painful, and there's gonna be a lot of starving people, and everyone in their Hawaiian shirts probably gonna be starving too, because they spent money on Gucci gear and they ain't got no food saved up.
And I guess that's like one of the other reasons, you know, that like the Boogaloo memes even came out and that it started getting pushed so hard was at the end of the day too. People like the gun owners, for instance, most gun owners aren't a small government like libertarians or anarchists. They're more Republicans. And they love their guns. They buy into the whole Second Amendment. Like, this is your God-given right. It's not to be taken away. But what the Boogaloo memes accomplished was showing people that, you know, like not to fucking, you can't worship fucking cops and give a shit about gun rights at the same time. So that was just one of the instances of hypocrisy that I used Boogaloo memes to try to push, was just, you know, cops aren't your fucking friends. It doesn't matter what you think.
It's insane that they've actually taken effect. I was like, when we start pushing this, like, no one's going to pay attention. But sure enough, every cop page I see, that like, damn near every cop post I see has at least one comment criticizing them. Like, oh, look, a bunch of fucking tyrants.
Yeah,
like
it
2
wasn't
years
like...
ago. No,
it's so encouraging. It's
very encouraging.
I mean, especially having been one of the bootlickers. I've talked about it before on the podcast, but back when I first started following you, Whiskey, like years back, I was a fucking bootlicker. I was a little neocon, and my last hang-up was your cop posts. They pissed me off.
Yeah. I mean, they always do.
yeah. People wouldn't believe it these days, but I was one of those people being like, I wasn't one of the ones bitching in the comments, but I'd sit there like, well, I like most of your stuff, but this is too far, man. Cops are heroes.
Yeah.
And
like, by the time I found you, Whiskey, I was like, thank God there are other people that hate cops. I'm like, I've been screaming this for years. These
all right,
dicks.
Because I mean,
I was a lefty, except for my love for guns and hate for cops.
What was it, like 2015, I think, when so like Mike Brown got killed, right? And then the whole like Black Lives Matter movement started, and then cops started doing like the Blue Lives Matter. And I was like, I had an uncle who was a sheriff, you know, of a town, and I always hated the guy, right? Like I thought he was a fucking asshole. So I never really liked cops. I guess I respected them. But then when that stuff happened, I was super conflicted about him, and I wasn't like a fan anymore, but I still didn't like people saying, you know, like fuck all cops. I just sort of attributed that to them being, you know, like criminals.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But then once I started to really think about it, and I realized that they're the people who make this whole system happen to some extent, like all the shitty laws that you complain about, they're the ones behind it. I got it, and it was like I saw it. There was no other way to think about it for me, right?
Yeah, it's such a roadblock to get through. You're like,
it is, but then once you get through it, you're
shit.
like, how the fuck did I ever think that? I was such a little bitch.
Yep, and like I was saying, it's that realization. I was in a very similar place to you. I was minicus, like literally doing my officer training for the British Army, and I finally got past that roadblock. I was like, fuck, what am I doing? Bailed.
Exactly.
So, oh.
Yeah, and I do not regret that whatsoever.
Fuck no, me neither. Jesus Christ! Right now, I've said it to a few people. I could be the Ron Swanson of the British Army, and I would eat my gun and fucking fuck that.
Yeah, I mean, it was not only did I just not agree with the military, like I was just not fucking happy, and I think most of it was because I didn't agree with it and I didn't like where I was. But I mean, shit, dude. Like, fuck being in the army. I don't miss that.
Fuck no. And like, I get so many comments from people like, oh, that was one of the questions. I think I answered it publicly because it was so fucking retarded. People saying like, join the military for book training. It's like, what the fuck? No.
So the only thing that makes sense with, right, is that you've got like an institutionalized idea on tactics.
Yeah.
Right? Like you are going to learn things that are effective, but one, anybody who thinks, you know, that you're going to go into the military and then you just become like this badass, you know, has obviously never been in the fucking military and has never seen a ton of the other people in the military. Like that's not how it works. You going out and calling, you know, like once every 6 months and then going out to ranges every so often, like, or doing battle drill 1 alpha drills, like that shit's, or room clearing, like that shit's all easy. And you can learn that outside of the military, right? And you can learn it faster. The only problem is that you don't know, because you don't really know anything about it. Like people have a tendency to just take what they're hearing as truth, you know, and there's a lot of people out there preaching shit that is stupid. So it's like, you don't need to join the military. You shouldn't join the military for like training or anything like that. Because like, you know, what good is that training if you go out and then you have to kill somebody and have that on your conscience when you didn't need to be there, you know, and then all of a sudden you're trying to rationalize it and all that. But like, you can get better at shooting. You can get better at like tactics, and you know, you can run your own drills, and it's quicker than like going through the military in that hurry up and wait shit.
Yeah,
you just got to be careful.
And you might be
learning.
You might have to pay for it, but you're earning a lot more money than being in the military.
Yeah, you are. Yeah, absolutely. Like if you think that you're in E3, you know, or E1 and 2, E3, like, or even E4, like just going into the military, you're not making that much money. So
yeah, and the Bite and the Bullet podcast guys said it the best, where like you're literally living within the fucking DMV.
That is so fucking
my free college.
Like you're not just visiting the DMV. You're not working at the DMV. You're just sitting on the floor of the waiting room most of the time. You're doing fuck all the majority of the time, or you're doing pointless bullshit, just busy work. You're not out there putting like hours in the range like you were saying. You're not doing room clearance for like a lot of time. You're doing that like
every so often. Like you've got budget restraints and shit. Like you think that your unit is just flush with cash and they're giving you all this sick gear and you're going out and like fast roping every night or something. Fuck no. That's not how it works.
I'm gonna join and then run off with an M240 in the middle of the night. No, you're fucking not.
Yeah, right.
No,
like I saw this article a while ago of this Fort Bliss soldier that tried to sell a bunch of, I think it was like machine guns or something to the cartel. Like got caught quick as shit. It's like, you fucking idiot. But
was he working for Obama?
Yeah, he was working for the ATF. Something about Fast and Furious, like Vin Diesel or something. I don't know.
Crazy. he was actually hourly during that, so I don't know. Just government work. Just government things.
It's really not a place that you want to be. You don't want to set yourself up to be a cog in that machine.
Fuck no. It's fair enough if you're currently a neocon, you're currently wrestling with these ideas, and you're like, well, maybe those guys are right, but I kind of want the challenge or whatever the fuck your idea might be. But if you're literally calling yourself an ANCAP, an anarchist, even a fucking minarchist, you've got 6 months until you're an anarchist, but we'll ignore that. Like, come the fuck on. Just think about it. You're joining the government institution, and you think you're going to be happy doing that? The only thing that keeps people going through their first 2 years is the alcohol and motivation, which they're still propped up from the ads. The second that fades, you're going to be smoking a pack a day, drinking a bottle a day. You're going to be fucking miserable, bitching. And the only thing, like, apart from the alcohol and smokes, is going to be your NCO power while you bully the guys who used to be you.
Yeah, I mean, dude, and two, you kind of brought it up, right? Like the ads. That's the thing that people don't realize when they're wanting to join the military, but then they claim to be like libertarian or anarchist. Like, you're not wanting to join the military for the training. Like, I know that you say that, but you're joining the military because you've been subjected to, $1 trillion a year fucking propaganda machine that gets you to think that, to be a man, because that's what I believed. I was like, to be a man, you have to be in the military.
Yep, been there.
Like, I didn't want to be that 80-year-old guy who was never in the military and had nothing to wow my grandkids with, right? And then when I realized how fucking stupid that was, I didn't give a shit anymore, and it made it way easier to get out.
Oh fuck yeah! Like
then too, like, I'm sorry, just like really quick. When you're in the military, nobody fucking likes being in the military. Everybody's miserable. Like, the reason that you make such great friends in the military is because you're commiserating.
Yep.
Right? Like, it's not worth your time. Like, people make a lot out of it, or they make the most of it in some instances, but it's not like fucking vacation or paradise.
Fuck no. And you don't feel like a badass.
No, you feel fucking stupid. Like, and then people come up to you and thank you for your service, and you're like, God, fucking shut up. If you knew what I did every day.
Yeah, it's like, I clean hallways. Or if you're an officer, you're in charge of people cleaning hallways.
Yeah, you're in charge of work details.
Yeah, like there's no fucking glamour. There's no Rambo moment apart from those like probably not even 1%, probably 0.5 of the military has some sort of Rambo moment.
But that's how they got a lot of the guys like in this our generation is it's so fucking boring, and then you're in one firefight in Afghanistan and it gets your adrenaline going, and next thing you know, you're just kind of hooked on it, and then you apply that to the military. I don't know. I've just always, I don't really have any evidence to, support that too. I've just always thought that that's how a lot of people get really sucked in.
Brainwashing and stimulants.
Exactly.
In the form of adrenaline.
Sounds like Nazi
really
Germany.
Quick addict.
Yeah, they're just not giving you like fucking amphetamines.
Well, they might be giving them that too and not telling them. But yeah, they get them hooked. They tell them, hey, adrenaline's what you want. Adrenaline's what you want. They finally give them a taste of it, and oh well, this is what I need now.
Yeah, and like I obviously didn't get PTSD from the military, but I feel like that plays a big part in it. That you've got this crazy high of like fighting for your life, and then you go back to everyday life, and it's just like, oh,
how can it compare?
This is boring. Like I want to go back. Like I feel empty.
That's how the first motorcycle clubs started, the Hells Angels and stuff.
Yeah,
guys coming back from war and riding bikes because that was the only way they could get the adrenaline rush from the war.
Exactly.
I did not know that.
Is their little outlet. But what else you got, Bloody?
Let's have a look.
This has been good question.
A lot of people ask questions. How many did you get?
I always get hundreds, but like I'd say, and I love my audience. I love you guys. A lot of you are very autistic. And again, I say that with all the love I can muster, but fucking hell.
A lot of them are proud of the autistic.
Oh, like every time and I'm gonna get shit for this again, but every time I make an autist joke, I get like 90 DMs saying I actually am autistic, and again, I know you are.
I'm sure you are.
Like, I love you, but
yeah, judging by some of like the comments and DMs I get, it's like, yeah, I don't fucking doubt it, bro.
Yeah, like seriously, you don't need a badge. Like I can tell. And trust me, you're better at maths than me, and you're probably smarter than me. But
yeah, I mean, you're cool. I mean, you know what the fuck is going.
You're certainly on the right path, but the social skills need some work. Like, it's really hard to judge between a Fed and someone who's autistic in my DMs. I never know if they're asking too much because they're really friendly and they're like nice people, or if they're just a Fed.
Yeah, no doubt. Like, I get way too many people, and I just leave them. Leave them in that message request bin or pit, whatever you want to call it. But, it's like people coming in asking me what kind of guns I have and shit. Like, shut the fuck up.
I'm a little uncomfortable telling you. That's something like, what state are you in? Can I meet you? And it's like,
I like to let them know that I seen their message, and I still never replied.
Oof.
Yeah, I used to just send the ATF man like head to him. That's all I'd reply with.
Shit, I need to start.
No, I just let them know that I seen it. They look it up. They look it up. And they're like, oh.
I usually like it. I like it at least.
Well,
to let them know I was there. Like, okay.
Well,
yeah.
No. If it's crazy, I don't like it. If it's just some random thing where I'm like, okay, like, because I have some people that just send me posts, other people's posts, like constantly.
Oh,
I'll comment, and I'm like, hey, what's up? Like, try to start a conversation, nothing. And then the next day, I get someone's post, and I'm like, all right, dude, I see these.
I love that though. Like it makes it so easy, like to run a page or even just be entertained when everybody's just out there, like thinking of you in the back of their mind, and they see something that they think that you'd like. And they send it to you. Like, I don't even look through Explore feeds anymore.
No, I never look through Explore feeds.
I'm normally just looking through like messages where people send me shit.
It's like, oh, you were thinking of.
Well, I don't get that many messages, so.
Well, they got me pegged.
I don't have my own Explorer.
They'll send me shit like, that doesn't even have to do with politics that I still think is fucking hilarious. Because
well, no, that's actually probably my favorite shit when someone sends me something that's not political, because. Like with the whole Instagram pages and the politogram, like everything's political in life. And I'm so happy sometimes to just see something that's not. Like, yeah, dude, I can relate to that. And it had nothing to do with the politics and the world today.
Like, I've got a lot of people who just send me like pit bull videos and shit. Like pictures of pit bull puppies, because I have a pit and I love the shit out of that dog. And somehow, like, people know, like, hey, he's got a pit, he'd probably love to see this. I'm like, yes, I would, thank you. I did want to see that pit bull dressed up in a little witch's outfit.
Send me a ton of templates now. I don't even have to look for those anymore.
Yeah.
It's pretty handy.
the one thing that really annoys me to end on a negative note, because I'm an ass, is when people send me eMilitia posts. Like someone will send me like Reb's post, like Rebellious Liberty, and I'll be like, I know. He's like part of my inner circle, dude. I saw this. I've liked it.
Oh, yeah, dude. Or when people send me memes that I posted from other accounts and they're like, dude, he posted it and he didn't even shout you out. I'm like, I don't fucking care, dude. Like, spare the meme. Give it shit. Like, I don't own it.
Yeah, the guy has like 200 followers and is like, hey, he shared it. It's like, cool.
God,
good. Like it's not hurting me anymore.
Yeah, it's like I really don't care. I'm glad the meme's getting out there and everything. I'm not gonna like hold a grudge against this guy because he posted a meme and didn't put my name in the caption. I don't fucking care. Yeah, that's
thank you for not posting me, because that's just one more thing in my feed. I'm like, all right, nice. Cool. I'll go to it and like it because hey, I made it. Obviously, I like it. I thought enough of it to post it.
Yeah, I mean, if anything, like I would prefer people put my name in just so that I could like it, you know, and let you know.
Yeah.
Like, hey, thanks, but
I'm never mad that someone's sharing it.
No, and like I've said hundreds of times.
That's the whole point of the meme. It's like you want this to be shared. You want this to be seen. Like, hello.
Exactly. Like you're doing it for lols, right? Like you're not doing it for money or anything like that, or like fame. You know, like that's always been something. Yeah, right. That's always been something where people always try to bring up like follower count, right? Like I was doing the same shit with 100 followers. I don't fucking care how many people follow the page. I think it's cool that there's become so many that, you know, are very similar to me. And it gives me a lot of hope. But
I think that's one reason a lot of people think you're relatable, because I believe in capitalism. I got no problem with people that take their page and turn it into selling merch. Who wouldn't? But you've done it and you're like, yeah, it's not my thing. I'm doing this just because I like doing it. I'm not making a buck off it.
I'll only sell merch when I want it, right? Like I get it for myself and then I offer it out to other people if they want it too. But then even, you know, if you do make any, like the money that I've made has gone into podcast equipment. Right? Like I just have never felt comfortable taking money for the page. And I've had a lot of people, you know, tell me like, hey, you should make a Patreon, like try to do this full time or something like that. But I feel like it would take away from the experience, if that makes sense. And then I would be no different than those douchebags like Too Savage for Democrats or Typical Liberal, like all those big conservative pages that I want absolutely fucking nothing to do with.
Yeah.
You know, like the guys that I would shove into a fucking locker. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's how my merch works. Like someone joked about me making fuck tons off it. It's like, no, literally damn near every dollar has gone back into either the podcast or like it literally saves me from doing bullshit freelance work so I can focus more time on doing this or writing the tactics post or whatever the fuck it might be. It's like, this is not something that is ever going to be a livelihood. Because if it became that, then you start doing bullshit like they do, and you just really lose the purity of your message, which, fuck that.
Plus, too, like, it's fucking social media, too. Like, I don't want my life revolving around social media. Like, a lot of my time already does, but yeah. I was also working and doing other shit, too. So, I don't know. That's always just seemed super empty to me.
Yeah.
But.
Next question.
Well,
that's all I have to say about that.
Well, I always said if the Boogaloo happened and it was just successful, I wouldn't be spending all my time on Instagram.
No,
I'd be out living life, enjoying freedom.
Yeah, exactly. Like the only reason this page exists is because I need some way to fucking vent. Like I always say, I would rather post a meme and like get a laugh than talking to my dashboard.
My page came from venting too, because no one in my life wanted to hear my constant bitching about government. And people would just tell me, hey, you got to do something. All right, well, this is me doing something.
I mean, like, God bless my, parents and friends for putting up with me talking about it for so long. Like, and I'm glad that I did to some extent, because now, most of them think like me. Like
well, I'm able to save personal
too,
relationships by not ruining them by just jamming it down their fucking throats constantly. Because at least now I have a release, and I can just leak it to them slowly.
Yeah, because really, that's the biggest difference, right? Between somebody who's an anarchist or really anybody who's very political. Like, the people who are super political are the ones that care the most. You can front like you don't give a fuck, but obviously you do.
Yeah.
Like,
it
obviously
takes passion
you want the world to be a better like, you're not just doing this for shits and gigs exclusively. Like, a lot of it is that, but obviously you care, and I think that that's good. But it's better than it's better taking all that passion, and like you said, directing it towards like an open medium of communication than it is, bombarding your friends at parties.
Oh, geez, I did that.
And well, it helps talking to strangers and working problems out and learning how to talk to people and get your message across rather than just being right in your face about it. It helps in real life whenever it comes up, or when you're talking to your family and you're just at Thanksgiving and you come in and you're like, I'm not going to say anything political. And then someone else starts with it and you're like, well, I'm not going to shut up about it. So it improves your argument skills with your family.
Yeah. And, at the same time, though, I don't mind, like, if I'm, like, once I was with a friend and some of his friends, like, I didn't fucking know him. And one of them said something really fucking dumb about, I can't remember what the first part was. I think it was, like, minimum wage or something. Or no, it was rent control. They were talking about rent control. And I was like, that's the stupidest fucking thing I've ever heard.
That's
and
how you make friends.
I'll be direct like that.
Yeah.
But it all just too depends on how they, go about it. Like, if somebody, even in comments, right? If somebody comes at me like hostile, I'm not just gonna take it on the cheek like a bitch. I'm gonna respond just as hostile. And it's the same thing in person.
Oh yeah, if someone wants to come up and ask a question, I'll answer it nicely. If they want to come up with an attitude, then you come back with an attitude.
I've noticed with that, people are so careful to ask, like me and a couple of you guys as well. Like, if they want to ask a question about anarchism or libertarianism, they're like, okay, I'm not trying to start an argument, but because they've seen us all go off on someone, like hyper aggressive, they're like, fuck, please don't roast me with like.
And honestly, I don't mind it. Like,
no,
I love that my comment section's a fucking jungle. Like, and I've got people in there who are fucking Nazis, right? Yeah, and they'll throw shade, and then people start throwing shade at them. Like, comment sections, I think, might be the best part.
Do y'all ever get just like people that send you random things out of context?
All the time.
And you just don't know what to do, so you just like throw it a like, or like say like
give it a double tap, and you're just
no, I do that.
Turn into anything more.
Just go, haha, yeah, that's cool. I don't know what the
problem with the double tap is. Then they send you something else.
They're like, why are they talking to me anyway? I don't know if
I'll respond to like any of it, and I'll throw them a couple sentences. But if it's something fucking stupid like flat Earth, then I'm like, Jesus Christ, you're staying.
Well, the problem is when you send them something and they don't send anything back for a week, and then they send another off-random post. And you're like, okay, I thought you wanted to start a conversation. Apparently, you just want to send me stuff.
You guys get the half-naked girls in your DMs asking you what's up with the little heart?
Yeah,
I always click on their links, but they never fucking respond after that.
Assholes.
It comes in waves. Like, I get them, then I don't, and then I get a bunch of them, and then I get a little break.
Yeah, I feel like Instagram must like change something. Like they find this little loophole to get around it and create all these mass profiles, and then Instagram will change something.
I'm sorry. I heard
think they just start a bunch of mass profiles and they all get shut down, and then they got to reboot the servers and they start a whole bunch of new mass profiles again. It just takes that whole.
Sometimes I'll respond like "fuck off, cunt" or something like that. You know.
Damn. The shittiest.
That's one of my favorites.
Fucking part about that though is that it's been going on so long, and you know that it works. Because if it didn't work, they wouldn't be doing it. So there's dudes out there who are fucking thirsty enough to fall for that shit.
Yeah, well, and how about
guys? We could fix this problem. Like,
the oldest profession. How about just legalize it, and then we won't have to have our DMs filled up with it.
Stop.
Yeah.
If prostitution was legal, you would never get fucking spam from hookers.
From Ukrainian hookers. You know, like
ever.
Lucrative.
Yeah. Legalize prostitution.
Plus two, like
my DM.
No offense, Empress, but women would be knocked down like the pegs that they need to be knocked down if you could just go out and pay a woman for sex and you didn't have to put up with all that extra bullshit. Like,
whoa,
women would lose their power. You would have no power here.
Could somebody mute this guy?
He speaks the truth.
They would lose. They would lose the false power that they have.
Okay.
They just have to learn how to fucking.
It'd be like, okay,
use the actual power that they do have of just being a woman and being part of society. Like there's two of us. Like it always takes two to fucking make it work. Just don't use the whole sex angle to fucking
make me laugh.
Dominate every conversation.
Trying to look at this non-biased and as an outside perspective. Imp is literally the most sane member of the eMilitia so far.
Oh, definitely. And after this episode,
I'm gonna back that up.
Fucking quit. Like, you fucking sexist bitches.
Like, I don't like. We would not like. I don't know how far without this, but like here we are. But here she is, and she's like, "Oh yeah, here's like 8 pages of notes for this podcast that I just took."
No.
It's amazing.
Don't reveal.
You fucking try hard.
Don't reveal the behind the scenes. We've always been this organized. Wink, wink.
Right. Okay.
We're not just a bunch of drunks who record. Jesus. Don't give away the state secrets.
Jeez.
All right. So I've got a good question. How do we know we're right?
That's a good question.
How do we know we're right?
I know how I'd answer that.
I know how we're right.
I have my opinion also.
Whoa,
I'm kind of waiting on you, Whiskey.
Let's go, Whiskey.
Right, so,
and that's right.
Fuck you got.
The way that I know that I'm right.
This shit about to be whack.
With with anarchism is that like it doesn't not make sense, and I'm not like a hypocrite, you know, like I don't have conflicting views. You know what I mean? That was the whole that was the big reason
not
too.
Make sense.
I guess I kind of fucked up the intro because a lot of the beginning of my like transition, I guess, to a female. No, to an anarchist.
You're not the only one.
All right, Caitlin.
Yeah, right. A lot of my transition towards anarchy was like me just attempting to not sound like a fucking hypocrite, because I've always hated that, you know, when somebody's talking and they'll try to act like they're right over something, but you know that they believe something else that just undercuts everything that they're saying.
So consistency of your values.
Exactly. Consistency, like
that's my answer too.
Yeah,
it's consistency in everything you do in life. And the whole idea to me of accepting anarchy is accepting self-responsibility and treating every situation consistently. Like, just because it's this person or it's a different situation, they should all have the same equalness.
Yeah,
equality.
Now I sound like a communist.
Equality.
Yeah, they have equality of rights. But
it's also logical consistency. What you're saying. Yeah. We're all on the same page. You just sucked at saying it.
Damn that.
Oh, dude, I hope I fucking meet you in person one day.
Hey, just to let you know, I was like JV wrestling team, so you know,
Shit's
be ready.
So
The other
you like
thing-
to
the
wear
other thing he likes-
bikinis and shower with other guys?
He did in the
Bikinis,
military.
onesies. Oh yeah, dude, the group showers. That's how you become friends.
That's
See,
why I was interested in joining.
You're friends.
That's how you become a snorkeler in the Navy, if you know what I mean.
Nothing wrong with this.
Really bad. The other thing too, like I just think that, like now when I look at people who are just so into like the state or cops or political parties or political figures, like
You
it
just
screams-
automatically think they're dumber than you.
dude, it just screams you're a little bitch.
Yeah.
Like how do
I
you
need a daddy.
that's how you want to live, dude? You want to be
Right.
somebody else's bitch?
I'm totally with you.
Appealing to me at all.
I'm totally with you in a non-condescending way.
Oh, I'm all condescending about it.
No,
That's
I mean,
why
like,
I
I'm with
don't
you in a
associate with
non-condescending
people
way.
and I don't have to work with them or anything.
I disagree
I
with
just-
them in a condescending way, but Whiskey, I'm with you in a non-condescending.
Oh, I appreciate that, dude.
Yeah.
Thank you
Look
for
at this.
Even though,
clarifying.
even though we're gonna have to, slug it out when we see each other.
Yeah,
But for now-
mutual combat.
Yeah.
No big deal. It doesn't violate a nap.
Just have somebody watch and like record, punch for punch.
All right, I'm gonna be a house on this, and I will take bets starting at $5 a piece.
Okay.
I'll take some of the action.
Who you betting on?
Who you betting on? Yeah.
Am I
That's
drunk?
confidential.
I
See
need
where your fucking answer.
some odds, don't I?
Am I
Fuck.
drunk in this equation? Because that'll affect the outcome.
I don't think it matters.
How about we both get drunk?
Oh, I like
Okay,
it.
well,
We
I mean,
both take a certain amount of shots based on body mass.
I could probably cut
No,
a foot
no,
off
no,
and
no,
not
no,
react
not
right
body
now.
mass. It has to be a certain amount of shots equal.
Yeah. So if you're
But
like
I
a
can-
skinny little
I can
shit,
guarantee-
130 pounds,
I was.
I'm
Just
gonna take
say,
10
I
shots, and you're also gonna take 10 shots, and you're gonna die of alcohol. Hit you.
See, like I can guarantee that I'm taller and probably way more. So
I don't know.
Oh, guarantee that.
You
Damn.
can guarantee
I
that.
mean,
How
yeah,
tall are you?
unless you're-
I'm
unless you're-
6'7".
I shit you not. I'm 6'7".
Yeah. Okay. So we're the same height. I'm 380 pounds.
You're 380 pounds. Jesus Christ! I eat my fucking words.
No, I'm just kidding. I'm not 380 pounds, and I'm also not 6'7".
Oh, see, I am
But
6'7".
I'd still be. Are you really 6'7"?
Yeah, I told you, dude. Danish
He's
and Sweden.
not.
Mutant? Have you ever played Fallout 3?
Dude, you guys, my brother is hookers and heroin. You can ask him.
Okay, but anyway, I'd still be honored to have a fucking impromptu UFC match with you in a
Is your
parking lot
brother
somewhere.
hookers and heroin?
Yeah, that's my little brother.
I did not know that.
Inside scoop.
Ding.
I mean, he's the same shit. I think he's 6'6". I'm still taller than him. I know that. Fucking damn sure.
Little brother quotation marks.
He'll never be bigger than me.
I've learned that
My little brother's
Two
the same
people-
way. He
two
thought he
people
got
that I
really
thought were
one
short
time
and tall.
because he fucking
they-
was lifting weights for football and thought he was bigger than me. He wasn't. Got
I don't know
slammed.
which was more of a surprise.
My brother just sprouted.
Sprouted what? Tulips?
Grew like a fucking weed.
Yeah, I also just to let you know, since the reason I quit wrestling was because I started doing MMA. So
All right, are we still going with the
shit.
podcast right now? Because we've got 1
Basically.
hour and 37 minutes recorded.
well, that's
Anglo,
pretty
I thought-
good. We can wrap
You
up
fell
here.
asleep, Anglo.
I did too. You haven't
basically.
talked
Just
in an
because
hour.
you come in with that awesome accent doesn't mean you have to be throwing facts.
What?
Just go back to sleep.
Are we
We'll
still
let you
going with the
know.
podcast right now?
Oh, I
Calm
don't know
down.
what's going
37
on.
minutes.
100.
The dude be like,
Are you getting charged per minute in England?
I live in the UK, but I also live on a beach, so who's better than who?
What?
But UK beaches are like rainy and fucking rocky and
It made out of
There's
stone.
one
Yeah.
that's okay, and I happen to live
Oh,
next
really?
to it.
Oh,
Go
yeah?
on holiday.
And it's
Yeah.
gray all the time. Oh, I
I don't
happen
know.
to
Is it?
live next to it.
I think
I'll
they
tell you
get
what.
sun about 10 days out of the year, which is pretty good.
I
Is
know
there
that this
ways?
is like gone for a long time. Bloody, I want you to give me the best question that you have, and we can wrap it up on that.
Oh fuck. Oh fuck.
I didn't expect you to like be this active. Shit.
Oh,
What is that even?
No. This is a very relevant and.
What do we do from here? Oh fuck! Whose podcast is this? What the fuck?
Yeah, we don't do relevant. We do drunk until passed out. Evidently, Gramps.
What?
What?
High.
Me?
Passed out.
I get high until I pass out. Thank you,
Mister. I'm gonna smoke a whole pound of dabs and pass out.
What's the question?
The question.
How old are y'all, by the way? Really
I would be
quick?
the first. Okay, Fed.
Because
What the
who's
fuck?
Gramps? Who's Gramps? You can give me a general age. I don't
Bootlickers
really-
beware is Gramps.
Bootlickers beware is Gramps. Got
And the
it.
general age is he's younger than.
He's younger than Hanger.
He already had the name Gramps, so we
I'm
couldn't
the
change
super
the
old
name.
man. I'm great.
Yeah, he's 72.
Everybody's under 100.
What?
I just turned 40.
No, you didn't turn 40. You don't fucking lie. You're at least 72.
You are.
There's the Joker.
All right, sorry. I figured when you guys were calling him Gramps, I was like, holy shit, how old is this guy?
No,
64.
No, he's not that old.
64.
Yeah, I was just the oldest of the original militia.
Yeah.
And then we
As it
started
grew.
looking in retirement homes. With
He like wasn't old at all, but
The old average age
So?
used to be 25, and then I came around.
yeah. So we were like, okay, well,
now it's like about.
And then Emp's old fucking cat hoarding ass came in, and that really raised the fucking average up.
yeah, she's like 56 or something, I think.
Yeah, she's super old.
Atta girl Amp.
And then
Way
and
to
then
stick with the youths. Stick with the youths, Imp. Proud of you.
Guns actually brings us back down because he's actually 12 years old.
He is 12.
Believe it.
I
Stick
think
with
he's
the-
really close to 13, though.
Stick with the meme fandom.
Last
Okay.
question, please.
Anglo's about to pass
All
out.
right.
Anglo,
Mr.
give
I
me
live
a
on
little
the
bit.
UK.
Poor Anglo.
Literally live in the most desirable city of the UK and bitching about how he has to stay awake. Like, come on now. Just you'll be
Feels
all right.
For whoever has to edit this.
I
It's
don't.
Anglo. It's 420.
Oh,
420 right now, dude. Lit, fucking light up, bro. The fuck? What are you complaining about?
Nice. All right. So last question, and it ties into Whiskey's whole imagery. Which revolutionary images are best to drape the movement in? And this is fucking obvious, but let's have a ball.
I'm sorry. Can you repeat the question?
Which revolutionary images are best to drape the movement in? As in the Liberty movement, I presume.
Can you use the question in a sentence?
No. No.
Can you give me the
honestly,
definition?
I'm gonna say the Whiskey Rebellion flag.
An old
I
favorite.
think it's one, it's a cool flag, but also
Yeah.
just like to me, I've said before, I think that the Whiskey Rebellion was like the beginning of the end. It's like when we started making our decline, and it wasn't very far off. Just the fact that we could have a tax on whiskey that people got up in arms about.
Yeah, I agree. All right, well, that was pretty concise. So I think this is a good place to end. So
Shut the fuck up.
No, I'm just fucking with you. You can, but let's all talk for a long time.
I would go with the Whiskey Rebellion flag.
Yeah,
hands down.
I mean, it's kind of like the best historical argument against minarchism, because we immediately start off. We've got these fundamental principles. This country is different, and then it's like, oh wait, no, it's fucking not.
Oh,
Yeah.
and only a couple years later, like we're doing the same shit that the British did.
It's a cancer, man. It's cancer. All of it.
It is. I think like the United States is the best example. It wasn't even minarchist to begin with.
The United States is the best example of cancer.
Yeah, you like it's gonna fucking grow, dude. You gotta cut
Because
it
of the
out.
fluoride. Okay, wait.
Fluoride's
Like,
there.
did they not put fluoride in the water in the UK?
I
They
don't
put
know.
much worse in the water.
I think they put estrogen in the water in the UK.
Hey.
Because
That's-
Anglo sent me a
fucking
dick
with
pic
ya.
one time, and I thought it was just a vagina.
It looked like a clitoris.
I don't
a
even know
little
what to
bean.
say to that right now.
It's just a fleshy pink patch where the dick used to be, and then a clit.
Like a Ken doll.
I don't know. I don't play with Ken dolls.
But it was an Audi,
Oh,
right?
really?
It was an Audi.
Oh,
at
really?
least,
You're
yeah.
gonna pretend like you have no fucking
But
idea
his-
what I'm talking about?
His nipples were innies, so that's the weird part.
Dude, Guns has Ken dolls with Barbie heads on them and pubes like strategically glued to where it's supposed to be.
Hello, this is Anglo from the future editing the podcast. At this point, Discord crashed, which is totally nothing new. You should all be used to it by now, so here is the rest of the intro. By the way, BR touches children.
Too close. Hey, Whiskey, do you have anything to plug?
Yeah, plug yourself, man.
You're not a work motherfucker. You got a lot of shit to plug.
Well, hold on, Anglo. Are you still recording?
Yeah, I am.
Okay, sweet.
Have you been recording the whole time?
Well, not from when I just left. Like Discord crashed.
What'd you miss? I said some funny shit.
Oh no, probably nothing worth repeating.
Did you?
Did you?
Oh man.
Don't interrupt him.
Are you talking to me?
Yeah. 1 minute of whiskey. Nobody interrupt.
Okay.
Oh, this is
All
gonna be the-
right.
Yeah,
I
let
see
him plug.
This is
I
gonna be
see
the
whose
shortest plug
side
in the
you're
world.
on. The fuck, dude? Shit. All right, Whiskey. All right. Apparently, this is your podcast. What you want to talk?
No, but he's our guest, and
Take it
I'll
over, bitch.
fucking throw his mark out there. Holy shit!
I'm trying to hype up the audience for this fight that's gonna happen
It's my.
eventually.
I am never going to meet you.
We're gonna meet each other. I'm flying out. Where you live, Cuba?
Where?
I don't know.
Street address.
Give me your
Washington
address.
D.C. November 2nd.
I'll give you my
John,
address.
I'm out with John McAfee on a boat.
1-2-3-4 Internet Lane. Come over.
All I'm gonna say is
Imps the cameraman.
super enjoyed like being on. I'm glad that you guys had me.
Of course, man.
I
Anytime.
got the YouTube Whiskey and Rebellion whiskey.still.lives on Instagram. Whiskey and Rebellion on Facebook, but I'm getting censored so fucking hard there that only like 13 people ever see my post. And then Twitter Whiskey and Rebel. But that's all I got.
Okay, well, for the 3 Instagram users that are libertarians that haven't found you yet, go ahead and follow Whiskey and Rebellion.
No, Whiskey still lives. God damn it.
Yeah, Whiskey still lives.
But this is who you are, right? Whiskey and Rebellion.
True, it's in the name, but you're
Okay.
probably not even going to be able to search me because I guess most people can't.
Okay, so give your
Yeah,
exact
caravans
at.
are a bitch.
What's your exact at?
Still.lives.
Okay,
The YouTube notes.
go follow him if you haven't already.
Somebody's
I hope you
fucking
get-
organized.
I hope you get at least 10 followers from this, man. And you know what? It's been a pleasure to have you, honestly.
Yeah, dude.
Even though me and you never had a feud, but we have a feud now, so it's gonna end in blood.
There's beef. See, the thing is, the reason that Guns is probably ahead of all of us in followers is because Whiskey shouted him out when he first started.
That's true. He was like new kid on the block, and then all of a sudden I had 500 followers.
I saw your
30 minutes,
name and I was like, yeah, this guy fucks.
This dude does. I came to fuck. I did. As soon as I made it, I was like, I'm here to
let's
fuck.
Throw him a line, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, Whiskey shouted me out when I first started too, and I'm not 10,000 yet.
It's just immediate
Yeah, same,
violence,
same.
guns and
Yeah,
guillotines.
yeah.
Like if you're not gonna do it with one, we're gonna do it the old-fashioned way with guillotines. This is how we're gonna do it. All right.
But real talk, like I know that I've been around, you know, for a long time.
Hey, man,
with
you shouted
the
me
whole
out. I
Liberty,
appreciate the fuck
Liberty
out of that.
Instagram thing. But you guys have no idea how happy it makes me to see other people making pages like this and, you know, doing similar things because when I first started back in like 2015, there was nobody around like that other than, you know, Babylon Step Back and then a few of the alternative news, you know, like eMilitia or Free Thought Project. Like that's all there was.
Yeah.
And then
That's real
now-
sweet, Dad. Thanks.
No, that's something I
But
want.
now, like, but seriously, like you know, it means a lot that, like Bloody was saying earlier, like the fact that you guys even looked at my shit and I was able to change your minds in any way,
Yeah.
you know, like that's super cool.
Yeah, I didn't know. I already told you I was a Babylon step back kind of guy. So
Hey, dude,
Shut the fuck up.
it's fair. It's fair. It doesn't bother me. I'm just
You
glad
didn't
that, like,
change my mind. You showed me that there was people out there that were more right wing than me that had the same beliefs.
good shit.
That also didn't like the way shit was going.
Yeah, I'm just glad that more people are talking.
Yeah.
You know, like it's a pretty cool, like, you know, it's cool to see like the movement grow and it become like almost more. I kind of feel like sometimes I'm stuck in an echo chamber. But
we've had the same conversation. Yeah.
Yeah.
like, I really don't feel I do feel like the movement is getting bigger and it's like becoming more mainstream, and that more people are willing to, talk about like their views.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
So fucking hang 'em and guns are saying not big fanboys who are converted. You fucking saved me from a career in the British Army.
Yeah, but I'm just saying that for the bands, man.
I
know. I don't mind it.
I'm not trying to.
No, but fuck you for real.
Oh my god. What I was gonna end on more of a fanboy note, but
nah,
like, shut the fuck up. But the kind of comments I get these days are the same sort of thing I sent you when I first started. I get comments saying like, "Oh, thank fuck, you changed my mind about joining the military. You converted me from being a neocon. You all this shit." And it's like, I always have to say like, well, you just have to keep on passing it forward, because I was a little neocon cop worshipping bitch, and then just being a British gun owner, no one agreed with me, so I started following you because of your Second Amendment stuff. That eventually got me all the way to anarchy, and then you just pass it forward. You have to keep on converting and just grow the thing like fucking Hydra heads. Just every person who's converted just got to start preaching. Hopefully, if you turn one person, we're growing.
I'd personally like to thank you for converting BR.
Exactly. All right. On a serious note, exactly as Whiskey just said, that he's happy to see more people having the conversation. That's honestly, conversation is the only thing that's going to grow this movement, because essentially we have no outside support. Like we only have this grassroots thing here, where people will talk to people that are almost there or slightly closer than the masses, and then be like, hey, so like here's why this and this and this equals tyranny, or here's why this and this and this equals actual liberty and stuff like that. So conversations are important. So don't be afraid to try. And if your friends are bitches and they're statist scum, you don't need to be their friends anyway. So
well,
it's like always remember, just always remember too, right? Like our movement is wanting to do away with the system, right? Like we're not going to have Koch brothers or George Soros or any of these like big lobby groups like back in our corner, right? Like Guns just said, it's all grassroots.
Yeah.
Like you change two people's minds and then they go out and change other people's minds. Next
it's like a pyramid scheme, but not shitty.
Seriously, I'm just not pushing like shitty teas with my tits on Instagram.
Yeah.
I am.
I lost all this weight and grew my tits with Sarah's discovery.
What the fuck?
I wish I had nice enough tits to sell merch.
Me too.
I've got nice enough tits. I'll sell you merch. Go ahead and make merch. I'll model it.
Perfect. Agreement.
On that note.
Guys. I know that Anglo is fucking dying.
Anyway, Whiskey.
Anglo's always dying.
Yeah, he's always complaining. Look at him.
Oh, says you little shit.
He's English.
Stereotypical British bitch.
Complain.
Mr. You can't carry a knife. You can't even carry a large pair of nail clippers. It's illegal, mate.
TV license.
Hey, Anglo.
You hear that?
Oh, are we doing that?
You don't know what that shit was?
Rack 'em for freedom, boys.
Rack 'em for freedom's a good handle.
If you're
listening to this,
that's how you guys should start ending the podcast.
That's a good idea. If you're listening to this,
and then everybody starts racking pistols.
Until we have
about making a handle.
I think a couple of those were ARs.
But anyway, I've been trying to say it for a little bit, but we all just been around each other.
That's rich coming from you, dude. That's fucking rich.
I know. But
Lights back on.
I'm superior. But for real, anytime, dude. I'm sure we had conversations with each other, like on my personal account, even like years ago. I can't remember, but like it's all been in good fun. But I still want to punch you in the face.
All right, I want to come, but we'll probably never see each other. But if we do,
no, don't talk like that. We will see each other.
My fist is coming straight for your vagina.
We will see each other, and we will have a good brawl, and it'll be all in good faith.
Whiskey, just like I want to say, I believe me and you had a conversation or two on my personal account before I started my politogram. And I know you convert a lot of people. I don't feel you converted me. What you made me realize is
you weren't that cool.
Not only there are people that think like me, there are people that are voicing their opinion already and being influencers in the same movement. And you gave me hope. You let me know that like there were other people like me
that were having the same conversation.
Want to live their own life.
I appreciate that, man.
All right, well,
you, brother.
What an uplifting, beautiful note to end on. Thank you for listening.
You're not a part of the Circle Jerk Guns, but
this has been. Yeah, I'm not a part of the Circle Jerk.
Join in.
You know, you're still okay. That's
we can put you in the middle.
You're a good 6 out of 10.
You're never going to be able to fight because Anglo's going to kill everybody.
All right. Wow. Well, in that case,
from England.
Thank you for listening.
From England.
Falling asleep with that.
Good luck.
Thank you for listening. This has been the Whiskey with Whiskey podcast, and we'll see you next time with something hopefully more interesting.
Oh my god!
Oh my god!
What a cunt.
Okay.